Hello and welcome back to the show. So I am super excited to be sitting here with my guest today, Vikrant. Vikrant is an author of the book How to Write a Bestseller. So he is an author that is actually teaching other authors how to write books and how to leverage this medium of marketing to be able to not only increase their brand awareness, but also help them build their business as well. So if you are wanting to build your brand and wanting to write a book or wanting to increase your business, this is definitely the podcast to listen to. But without further ado, I want to welcome my guest to the show. Vikrant, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kobe, for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being here. First and foremost, before we get into anything, would you mind just kind of sharing a little bit about yourself and your background and how did you become this coach, if you will, in the space of helping other people write books to increase their business?
Yeah, sure. So I'm the founder of Authors on Mission, where we help entrepreneurs, coaches, and thought leaders write, publish, and market the book, even if they don't have the time or skill set to write a book. And we do that with our done-for-you book writing, publishing, and marketing services. So as of now, like we have helped more than 750 clients in the process of writing, publishing book. We're in the business for over 10 years now. How I um, came to this, like it's a long story, but long story short, um, I started my first business and it failed. I had no money to pay my bills, so I had to figure out like how I can pay my bills. So I this is 10 plus years ago, and I started looking online how to make money online, and I discovered self-publishing, that I can write and publish book and make some money out of it. So I started writing books by myself and I started making money from that. And then in the process, some people asked me for help that, hey, how did you write this book? How were you able to do it? So I started helping some people for free. Then I added some coaching fees. So initially I was a coach, and then I also launched several courses. But then I realized a market gap where, even though like when I was coaching and they were going through the courses, there were a lot of people who were still stuck, who were maybe not having the time or not having the skill set to write the book. So I assembled a team of ghostwriters, editors, designers, marketers, and created this publishing company where now we are offering them this done for you services through which, even if they don't have the time or skill set, they can still become an author. So that's the entire process. Like in the 10 years, like we have helped more than 750 clients, as I mentioned. Um, so that's a little bit about me, like how about my background.
Yeah, that's really cool that, you kind of saw writing and publishing books as a alternative way to, kind of supplement your first business when it didn't really work out so well. So what kind of books were those that you were writing in the first place? Were they just kind of were they business-based books, or were they just kind of, you were just writing books to kind of sell for the royalties on the books themselves, or what type of books did you start out writing?
Yeah, they were not business books. Like I was writing under my pen name, so some of them were fiction, most of them were non-fiction, like how-to books in different niches. So I used to do the research and then compile all the information in such a way that it is easy to read and of course start implementing. So I started writing books on different fiction categories like sci-fi, and then I also started writing up in non-fiction, where in real estate, leadership. But I used to do a lot of research. Um, although I have unpublished most of these non-fiction books because I didn't have much expertise in that. I just did the research and found and started writing the books around that. But now, like the books that I have recently written, like they were based on my experience, that exactly what I have learned in the process of starting a business from mine like $10,000 in minus
Mm.
to $1 million company, like exactly what's the process looks like. So now what are the steps involved? And actually writing a book myself actually also helped me build a credibility, and then growing my business, generating clients. And this is what I'm actually also showing to our clients, that how they can leverage that, how they can get speaking gigs, how they can get a consulting clients using the book. So that's the business is all about. Like, it is not just the book is just the starting point, where it opens a lot of different doors for different medium, and that is helping our clients go from like 5 figures to 6 figures or more, like 7 figures as well, using their book.
Right. And that's actually a really cool point that you brought up is, using books to build your credibility as an entrepreneur and helping to build your brand. So, what would you say is the benefit of that, right? Because there's so many mediums out there. I mean, obviously there's people doing a lot of social media content. There's people who, just they have a podcast like this right here. So what is it about writing a book that really kind of separates you from the pack, if you will? And what are the benefits of that specifically?
I think there are a lot of different ways to build your brand. So one could be having a YouTube channel, then of course having a podcast, maybe being very active on social media. So there are different ways. But one of the ways which actually stands out is writing a book. So while, of course, podcast, like I have a big respect for that. Nowadays it is trending. YouTube is really, really good. But when it comes to book, like somehow people see you as an expert when they find out that you are an author on that topic. So for example, if you um, are looking for an expert to help you build a funnel for your marketing campaign, and you are now shortlisting, maybe like you're interviewing hundreds of people, and then finally you shortlisted 10 people like who are good. Now suppose if out of 10 people, one person is an author who has written a book about how to build $1 million funnel, this is the book title, you would be more inclined towards that person, because you would somehow feel that this person is more knowledgeable, like more experienced than other people, because he has written a book on that topic. So Brian Tracy also said this, that um, if you want to build your authority, then you have to become an author. In authority word itself, there's an author. So that's really, really powerful. And there are ways that how you can leverage the book to achieve what you want to achieve. So for example, if you want to book or generate more leads, you can offer your book for free in exchange of their email address on Facebook ads, right? And what the process, so some of our clients are doing it. So I'm giving you the behind the scene, exactly what our clients are doing. So they're offering the book that is for $10, $20 on Amazon, and they're offering it for free on Facebook ads. And the moment they provide the name, email address, and phone number, they have their agents, like 3 or 4 people, like who immediately call them and ask them, hey, have you received the copy of the book? How was it? If you need anything, you can reach out to me. But do you want us to speak to the author himself for free 30-minute session? And usually most of the people say, yeah, definitely. And then this author actually offers this free 30-minute session, but in the end, he offers him a coaching or consultation program, which is for $5,000, $10,000. So the conversion rate is extremely high, because these readers actually see this author as a celebrity, right? So this is just one way to generate leads, and then actually turning those leads into $5,000, $10,000 client. So this is just one way. You can also leverage the book to uh, get speaking gigs as well, right? So there are other ways like how you can do that. If you want, we can talk about it. But basically, writing a book is and becoming an author is kind of being a celebrity in your niche, or being a credible expert or an authority in your niche. And in business, it's all about like how do you stand out from the competition, and writing a book is a really, really good way to do that.
Right, absolutely. And I think we can all kind of see that just in the books that we're reading every day, right? When you see who's the author of the book, then you realize that everything afterwards, after reading the book, you start following the author, right? Maybe they have other books, right? You go get their other books. Maybe they have other speaking gigs and you go to their speaking events, or maybe you start taking with some of their courses and just different things like that. But
Yeah.
definitely, I think, just having your name, right, on the bottom of a book as the author will give you that credibility just by default. So as far as, starting out to write a book, right? I think a lot of people when they hear this or even before hearing this, will really want to write a book, right? They want to have something out there, like you said, maybe just as a lead, a magnet to be able to capture leads coming in and have that credibility. But what would you say is like the process of finding a niche or finding a topic, if you will, to write about? Because there's a lot of people out there who may be in a business and maybe they're not doing something that's super unique, but they
Yeah.
do want to write a book. So what would your suggestion be there? Do you think that, somebody would have to be doing something that's extremely unique, or could they essentially be writing a book that covers a topic that might be covered in other books as well, but they're just putting like their own spin on it?
Mhm. So for different type of audience, the answer would be different. For an example, if someone who is in the information business, it could be coaches, consultants, or speakers, right? Like who is selling their message or their ideas via speaking or coaching or consulting. These people should write a book on their core idea or core message or core program. So, for example, if someone is teaching DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, they should not think about, okay, so can I think about that idea, that idea? They should definitely write a book only about DEI, right? So the because eventually, if their goal is to generate more consulting clients or coaching clients or speaking gigs, then you have to attract the right type of people from the book, and that is only possible if you write the right kind of book which actually delivers what you want to achieve in the back end. So if you have a DEI consultation, then you should write a book about DEI. Now, talking about the entrepreneurs and people like who are thought leaders, usually what I'm seeing that um, they share their business principles, they share their story, their journey, their struggles, their failures, their successes, exactly how and what they did to make it happen. Basically, they are not only after making money directly through the book sales, or maybe they don't have any goal to generate clients through the books. Their goal is to build a legacy or um, share the things that they have learned to the world, right? So the different people have different why, different purpose of why they want to write a book. So again, if you are in the information space, just write about what your core business is, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you can write about business lessons. It could be self-help. It could be your story. It could be anything that can help other people. It can also help you build your personal brand and leave a legacy as well.
Got it. So basically, what you said there was, before determining what topic you're going to write the book on, figure out what the purpose is of writing
Yeah,
the book is for.
yeah,
So if
yeah,
you're in it to essentially capture leads and to promote your business, then you want to make sure you're writing the book within that framework, or you're not trying to expand it too much because you're only trying to capture one audience. But if you are writing the book just to kind of tell your story and to make a big impact on a lot of people and maybe even inspire other people, then you can kind of expand a little bit more broadly into some of your personal lessons and different things like that. So that's really important. There's before even starting, figuring out what the purpose of writing the book is for.
yeah. And whenever we start working with a client, like we always work with them to create this outline quadrant, and this outline quadrants have four elements in that. So the first is the main book idea, right? The second is why. Like, why exactly do you want to write a book? It could be lead gen, speaking gigs, getting more coaching clients or consultation clients, sharing your story, building the brand. Whatever the reason is, this why or this purpose is going to help you decide what would be the structure of the book, how you would be structuring or compiling all the chapters and information in the book. So the first is the idea, the second is the why, the third is the reader element, which is very important because you are not writing the book for yourself. You're writing the book for the end readers. You have to address their pain. You have to address their problems and exactly how they can go from point A to point B. That is your goal, right? So you can uh, you can do some service. You can, if you have a good follower base, you can of course go over there. You can ask them. You can do some polls. If not, then you can also join several Facebook groups. It is free to join most of them, and if you are in a right niche, most of the niches have tens of thousands of members in one group, right? There are several active groups as well. Find that you can ask questions over there, you can run polls over there as well, that what kind of problems they're facing and everything. And then you can also interact with some of the people. You can offer them something for free, that hey, like I'm offering a 15-minute or 30 minutes consultation, and over there you can ask them something that is going to help you understand the audience, understand your target market. And once you do that, then the reader is complete, like the reader element is complete. The fourth element is the hook. Means how your book is different from other books. What is a unique angle of the book? There could be hundreds, if not thousands, of books on the same topic, but why the reader should buy your book. So over here, you can do the proper research that on top 50 books available in your niche. So there are two things that we really recommend. First, they can go over there in top 50 books. They can easily click on the book cover on look inside feature on Amazon, and then they can read table of content over there or some of the pages over there, through which they can get some idea from exactly what these books are talk about, right? And what some of the things that you're going to be adding. There's one more thing that is very, very important, which is very beneficial for you in finding your unique hook, is checking out the 3-star and 4-star ratings, and then finding out, because these 3-star 4-star ratings, they actually tell you what is good in the book and what is missing in the book, and those missing elements could be the hook of your book. So these four elements combined becomes the outline quadrant. So the idea, why, readers, hook, which actually helps you create a really good book for your end reader that actually solves the problem, and then that actually helps you convert the book reader into client if that is your desire, or that is or if your goal is to build your brand, then of course that definitely serve the purpose. So yeah, this is the process of like what we always recommend this to our clients, like whenever we start working with them.
Right. So it's a very structured process as far as writing the
Yeah.
book actually goes, and I think it's really important for people to understand because I think there's a lot of either entrepreneurs or just potential authors out there who have this idea of, hey, I'm going to write a book, but they get really stressed out and they never do it, right? So as far as what you've seen, right, in this process, what would you say are some of the biggest roadblocks to authors or potential authors who want to write a book, but the task is just too daunting for them and they just end up,
Yeah.
not following through?
Yeah. So usually what I'm saying is there's definitely a writer's block, right? Uh, some people, they might be very good at writing emails or writing blogs or articles, but writing a book is a completely different skill set. So you might be a good writer, but you might not be a good book writer. For example, I know that I'm not a good book writer. So I know I created this system of what we call an angel writing system, that is a hybrid ghostwriting system uh, for myself, that is helping hundreds and thousands of people now. So the thing is, these experts, most of them, even if they are a good writer, they might not end up completing their book. they are stuck. Of course, they are busy. Of course, they don't have the skill set. Of course, they don't know how to write a book. They have never done it in the past. So it would be very challenging for them to complete the book. Also, I also noticed that why this happens, like why they get stuck, is because first of all, they don't know the process of writing a book. Exactly what are the steps they have to take in order to write a book, and what to do if you get stuck. Usually, people get stuck. Most of the people get stuck because they always start with chapter number one. Like they start writing, like, okay, so this is going to be chapter number one. But the problem with that is, uh, they don't, most of these people, they don't have the book outline ready. They just start with chapter number one. So if they get stuck over there and they don't have any creative ideas coming for the chapter number one, they don't know what to write about. They just stop doing it. But what happens is, like, once you have the really good outline ready, like granular titles and like subtitles, and then all the chapters, sub chapters, and sub chapters ready. For example, if you're stuck with chapter number one, and if you're not having creative ideas for that, maybe you can start trying chapter number two, right? And sub chapter number 2.3, right? So there you can see 25, 50 ideas that you can write about on the outline, and then you can talk about that. Also, they don't have this outline quadrant that we talk about, right? The idea why readers hook, right? So they write about something they don't know, like how the readers are going to be finding valuable. So always, like, what we recommend is having the outline quadrant and printing it out, and then pasting it on the wall where you are writing. So you always know what's the book idea, why you are writing the book, who is the readers, what kind of problem they're facing, and then how your book is different from other books. This will help you identify that how you can make sure that you are in the flow of writing a book. And then whenever you get stuck in specific chapter or specific idea, you might start writing about the other idea. Sometimes, like, these things also don't work. So nowadays, of course, you can leverage AI, chat GPT. Like, of course, you can't copy and paste the content from there, but you can leverage those. Like, you can ask ChatGPT to do the research, and then, of course, provide you some analogy, right? So you can actually leverage that as well. Like, so if you are very, very stuck, you can leverage that, and then, of course, you rewrite it in your own language, in your own experience, in your own story. So you can nowadays leverage AI as well. Sometimes these things also don't work. Then, of course, we have to accept it that we might need to hire experts, like people like who have written ghostwriters, who have written more than 20 books, 25 books, who have done it dozens of times. They know the process. They know how to deal with the writer's block, right? So these people can interview you and can save you tons and tons of time and frustration, and can also make this book so valuable for you and for the end reader. So these are some of the obstacles and some of the ways, like, how you can overcome that in writing a book.
So that's a lot of good stuff that you just covered right there, because I think too many people, especially busy professionals, right, they get stuck. And because they do start without a plan. And what you outlined there is a plan for somebody to be able to start writing a book, whether it's themselves, whether it's using AI or using ghostwriters to help them as well. And it really all starts with the foundation, right? You mentioned creating the outline of the book, starting out with, chapters and then sub chapters, and then even more granular than that. So would you say that's probably the place that most authors should start when they are actually designing the content of the book? Because once they have that, right, they can either write it themselves or just use that same framework,
Yeah.
and ask AI to write them a chapter or a paragraph, or even just take that and just give it to a ghostwriter to make their lives easier.
Yeah. So usually how ghostwriting works, I don't know, like, not all the ghostwriters, but our ghostwriters, how do they work is, they, even if the clients don't have the working book outline ready, they can still work with the writer, work with the client, and then take their interviews for and then create the book outline ready for them. They can brainstorm and then they can think about all those ideas. They can share all the ideas, and then they can brainstorm and then create the book outline ready for them. Once the outline is ready, then they start taking interviews for chapter by chapters, right? So for chapter 1, they have 2 or 3 interview sessions. Then they write the first draft for the chapter 1. They share it with them. If they have any feedback, they share it with them. They fix it. Then they move to the next chapter. So chapter by chapter, they complete the entire book. So it's kind of a collaborative approach, like where the client is also involved, but not a lot, like not. So 3 to 4 hours a week is I think doable for all the people like who are serious for writing a book. But if you are writing the book yourself, it can take 50 hours, 60 hours a week. So that could be very challenging for most of the people if you have to complete the book on a deadline. So so yes, definitely, that's a really good starting point. If you are writing the book yourself, then you should definitely start with a book outline. But if you hire a good ghostwriter, they can also help you create a book outline for you. So you don't have to worry about creating the book outline. If you have the early book idea ready, and who is the target readers, and you know why you want to write a book, then these course writers, like if they are good, they can definitely help you out with creating the book outline as well.
Right. So you can even have just basically what you mentioned, the quadrant of writing a book, right? The
Yeah.
idea, the why, the reader, and the hook. And then you can
Yeah.
just give that to a ghostwriter who really knows what they're
Mm.
doing, and they can even help you create the outline. So really, I think, now that I'm talking about this and talking it out loud, writing a book is not as hard as, a lot of people think, because you can hire the right help. And really it's just you conveying your idea in a new type of medium. Would you say that's a correct
Yeah,
analysis?
exactly. And of course, sometimes people have this kind of fear that, hey, like if someone else is writing a book on my behalf, is it my book? Basically, they are the writer, but eventually you are the author. So you don't know it. Like when I was doing the research before I started started this company, I did the research and I found that most of the top 1% books that you see on Amazon, they are ghost written. They are not written by the authors themselves. They were ghostwriters who did the interview. So including Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, Stephen Covey's book like 7 Highly Effective Habits of Successful People, Richard Branson's book Losing My Virginity. Like these are the top 1% books like that you see over there. Most of them are ghost written, right? Some people disclose that, most of them, they don't disclose it, because these top 1% performers, they know the value of their time. They know that this skill set, they have never written the book before, and if they would try it, it can take them years and years, maybe an entire lifetime to write a book, or they're gonna waste a lot of time. They could make tons and tons of money for the same time doing what they are doing, and then and in exchange, in place of they writing the book themselves, they can hire an expert like who has done it dozens of times, and they can interview them, they can write the book. So yeah, like there are some obstacles. Like for example, if I want to design a website, I would not want to do it myself, because if I haven't done it, I'm gonna simply go to some freelancing sites. I'm gonna hire some experts, and then of course for working with them, because they might have done it hundreds of times. So then again, same goes with the book as well. You are the main idea. You are the architect of this book. All the ideas are coming from you. Your stories, your message, your experience, everything is coming from you. This writer is just taking all of those ideas and writing the book. Most of the people don't even know that. Like even Bible is ghost written, right? So Jesus didn't write the book himself. Like there were scribe, like who used to write, like when Jesus used to say so. So think about it. Like if this is your mental block that, hey, like I should not hire a ghostwriter because it might not be me, or is it uh, um, going to be ethical? So yes, it is, because eventually, even if this book is gonna help one person change their life, that is worth doing it. Because if you not do it, if you not write the book yourself, then you might not end up completing the book, and then there could be a lot of people out there like who want your help, who want to read your story, read your message, that can help those people. So yeah, like if this is your mental block, then just simply go pass over it. And if you can't do it yourself, hire someone.
Absolutely. I mean, you pointed that out perfectly there. Is, a lot of these top books that you see out there are all ghostwritten, right? They're, or at least a collaborative effort. So the busier you are, the more knowledge really that you have to share on that side. The less time you actually have to write the book yourself, because you're too busy, accumulating that knowledge and sharing it in other ways as well. So you have to value your time when you are working on these things. And hiring a ghostwriter, I don't, there is no, at least I don't see any ethical uh, problems there at all. So a lot of these books you see out there, they are written by collaborative efforts or ghostwriters. So it's perfectly okay, and actually a much better return on your time as well. So as far as, after writing the book, right? Because I'm sure a lot of people, whether if they are writing it themselves or using a ghostwriter, one of the big worries of, maybe you're having a book out is, what if the book doesn't sell, or what if it doesn't accomplish just the goal that I wanted to, whether if it's selling it or generating leads, because it is a big investment, right? Whether if you're putting
Yeah.
a little bit of time into it, and investing in a ghostwriter, or investing your own time into it, it's a big investment. So what would you say to somebody like that? Should they carefully consider it, or is there a way for, after the book is written, for them to be able to leverage it in other ways as well?
No, definitely. That's a really good concern. So whenever you write a book, there are chances that usually, like I think there are only 5%, 6% books out there that sells more than 100 copies in throughout the lifetime. So that's a kind of a very, very challenging for authors. So you before you write the book, you also have some sort of marketing plan, that how you would be promoting the book. So nowadays I have personally seen that podcast, like guesting on different podcasts, is one of the best way to promote the book. And there are ways like how you can reach out to these podcast hosts and sending emails, and then book yourself over there. Usually these podcast hosts love to have authors on their show, right? If the book's topic is aligned with their show. So you can get over there, and these these hosts, they're so kind enough, like they talk about the book itself, they talk about how you wrote the book, and they ask only about the book and about your journey. And then eventually they also ask like, hey, how people can find you and your book. So you also have a really good call to action. So you go on, for example, 2 or 3 podcasts a week, right? So maybe 8 to 10 podcasts a month. And then you have like around 6 to 10 hours of content ready, right? Then you can break it into pieces. Like one podcast, you can break it into 5, 6 pieces, and you can start posting in all the different places, like your social media, your YouTube, your LinkedIn, all the different places where your audience is there. And you can have your call to action with like, okay, so you can get my book over there, get my book on Amazon. So, so the thing is, like, it's all about, uh, of course, having a good product is really, really important, but the promotion part is also important. And nowadays, podcast is a really good medium, because you're not just going on a podcast, you are not wasting your time. You are leveraging others people's audience, like hundreds and thousands of people are going to listen to the episode. And then you can, at the same time, you can also break those videos into multiple different short form content and different um, short videos, and then leverage it and post it different places, and then also promote the book. Also, you can leverage Facebook ads, Amazon ads, BookBub ads. There are so many ebook deal sites. So promoting the book is also a skill set, right? But there's also one more thing, like promotion actually starts from the product itself. So product over here is the book, right? Then comes the packaging, where you should know how to package the book, like what type of cover you have to use, the back cover copy, the author bio, your author picture, book description, the title and subtitle. All of these are packaging of the book. So the packaging should be good. So product, packaging. The third is pricing. So you have to do the competitive research on the pricing, and the fourth is promotion. All right. So all of these four pillars should be aligned in order to promote the book in a right way. So yes, the concern is genuine, but there's a skill set. And again, if you don't know how to do it, then you can hire an expert, like who have done it hundreds of times.
Right. Absolutely. I think with these, with this today's age, going on podcasts is maybe one of the best ways to promote new books, and even doing it before the book is out, right? It's like a pre-promotion. It's a great way to generate a lot of interest in it before the book even comes out, or even just gauge interest in the topic. So there's a lot that you can do there. But if you have a right plan, like you said, or the right partners to work with, then you can definitely get your book out there and make the impact, or bring in the income that you really want to do. So
Yeah, right. Definitely.
yeah, awesome. Well, Vikrant, thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm really appreciate you being here and sharing your knowledge and really explaining the process of writing a book and using it to build your brand and your business. So for there are listeners and our viewers out there who want to learn more about you and what you do, maybe some of the services that you provide with your company. Maybe they're looking to start their own book. What are some of the best ways to reach out to you or follow you and check out some of the things that you are doing?
Yeah. So for our work, like you can visit authorsonmission.com. So over there, you can see hundreds of testimonials and case studies and success stories of our clients, like who have used our services. So simply visit authorsonmission.com. If you think that this can help us out, if you think that this is a fit, simply book a call with us. One of our author strategists gets on a call with you, help you identify like what kind of problems you are having, and then of course once they also see that this is a fit, then they can onboard you, and then we can get started working with you. But yeah, like the process is simple. Like it's a all 100% done for you service. We write, publish, and market everything for you. We don't only write, publish, like but as I mentioned, we also help with the promotion side. Like we also guarantee that the book becomes #1 bestseller. We help you get sales, reviews. We help you get on podcast. All of these services are included. So book a call with us, and then of course we can see if we can work together.
Yep, absolutely. We'll make sure to leave that in the description down below so that it's easy to find. But other than that, I want to thank you again for being on the show. Is there any last pieces of advice, any last tips you want to leave with us here today before I let you sign off?
Yeah. So according to Forbes, like 81% Americans wants to write a book. And then, but the problem is only 1% of those 81% actually start writing a book. And 1% of those 1% end up writing a book. So this gap is really big. So if you have a desire, if you have a dream of writing a book and becoming an author, then start small, right? Start with the outline quadrant where you create the idea, why, readers, and hook, and then create a book outline, right? Very, very granular. So whenever you get stuck, like you again go back to the outline quadrant, or the outline, and then of course start working on other section of the book if you are stuck on one section. So writing a book is difficult, but it is not impossible. So again, if you need any help, like there are people out there like us, like who can help you through the journey. So just good luck with the publishing journey.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next show. Take care.